Hey guys, urgent news. The fifth victim of John Wayne Gacy has been identified. Francis Wayne Alexander was body number 5 they exhumed. He was identified through the DNA basis, like the data codes or the data system. Yeah. No, he was one of the ones that they couldn't identify. So how he was identified was that the partnership between the sheriff's office and the DNA Dope Project. The DNA Dope Project is a system where they use like other profiles. They're like going through genealogy websites to find potential relatives. They found that it linked to his mother and his half brother. When they were contacted, they both had provided DNA for comparison. So between the genetic testing and financial records, postmortem reports, and other information, they confirmed that the remains were that of Alexander's. So Alexander, how was he? Yeah. Francis Wayne Alexander. Yeah. This is just like a breaking news thing. Through Sheriff Tom Dart, speaking with Alexander's mother and other relatives, they don't want to speak publicly about the identification as Gacy's victim, but his sister, Carolyn Sanders, made it clear that the family never stopped thinking of what might have become of him. This is because they thought that he just cut off communication and wanted to be left alone. That was one of the...
They never thought that, that he might be a victim of him?
They never thought. That never came through at all. They didn't think anything of it.
He just ran away and that was it?
That's what they thought. Like, he just... the thing was, he was a full-grown adult. He wasn't a teenager.
Right.
So...
And how old was he?
I don't know. That it's... Okay. 45 years he was identified.
Oh my God, unidentified.
Yeah, unidentified. To know what happened to him is a bit of it's closure for the family.
Definitely. Well,
according to Sanders, she wrote a statement released by Dart's office. He was killed in the hands of a vile and evil man. Our hearts are heavy and our sympathies go out to the other victims' families. We can now lay to rest what happened and move forward by honoring Wayne. Alexander's remains were among the 26 sets that police found in the crawl space under Gacy's home outside the city. 3 other victims were found buried on Gacy's property, and another 4 of whom Gacy admitted killing were found in waterways south of Chicago. If you guys don't remember, I did do a podcast. I did do an episode. It was a multi-parter of John Wayne Gacy. That the last 3 to 4 victims were tossed over the bridge. The last being Robert Peace was the last victim, and his body washed up. It was caught in some brush. That's how they found Robert Peace. Wow, it's crazy. But Dart's office exhumed the 8 sets of remains. In 2011, called on anyone who had any male relative disappear in the Chicago area in the 70s when Gacy was trolling for victims to submit DNA. Within weeks, the sheriff's office announced that it had identified one of the remains, those of William Bundy, a 19-year-old construction worker. In 2017, it identified the second set, those of 16-year-old Jimmy Hackinson, who disappeared after he phoned his mother in Minnesota and told her he was in Chicago. Dart and Lieutenant Jason Moran shared that they knew about Alexander, born in North Carolina. He moved to New York, where he was married, then on to Chicago in 1975, where he soon divorced. The last known records of Alexander's life were traffic tickets he received, the last which came on January 1976. Unlike many victims who were lured to Gacy's home with the promise that he'd get them construction work, Alexander worked in bars and clubs, so there was no record of him working in construction or having any made contact with Gacy. But Alexander did live in the same area that as Gacy frequented, and that where some of Gacy's other victims had lived, including Bundy. Unlike Bundy and Hackinson, who were identified because family members heeded 2011 call for the public to submit DNA. That's where the DNA Doe project came in, and they were able to they were able to compare DNA and find him. One of the newest investigative tools for the investigations of missing and unidentified persons, that's the Project Doe, DNA Doe project. That's actually a smart thing to do, is to use their DNA. And whoever uses that 23andMe and that Ancestry.com DNA test, you all know everything goes into a database. So who knows? Like, if it wasn't for that, he wouldn't have been identified. Dart declined to give Alexander's hometown, saying that the family hasn't said if they want to bring his remains to North Carolina or keep them where they've been buried for all these years. But in its news release, the sheriff's office did thank the police department in Irwin, about 35 miles south of Raleigh, for its help. The submission of DNA from people who suspected Gacy might have killed their loved ones has helped police solve at least 11 cold cases of homicides that had nothing to do with Gacy, who was executed in 1994, and has also helped families find loved ones who were missing were alive, including a man in Oregon who had no idea his family was looking for him. So that's the breaking news, guys. Victim number 5 was identified as Francis Wayne Alexander. To the families, still pondering what happened to their loved ones. We hope you get closure soon. So this is Odd Broad signing out, and have a good night, guys. Hey guys, stay tuned for my following podcasts, and not to mention both seasons 2 and 3 are available on all streaming podcasts. Wherever you get them, you can find them there. You can also follow my socials, and that is Odd Pods with the Odd Broad on IG, and you can find me on Snapchat at Cy Edwards. My Twitter, I am currently redoing that, so you can actually find me on Twitter at OddBroadTV as well. So you guys have a good one and be safe. Bye.